5 years of that, my next job was working for Dad. When he started his own business, in the house with Frosty,
Yeah,
or a building, not a house, it was a building.
yeah, apartment building and garage.
His business was going nowhere, he wasn't making money. The guys working for him were gouging him, they were taking pretty well every cent he took in.
Really?
Yeah. And he was so generous, he just paid them. And I thought, well, he wants me to look after the books, but I don't really know that much about bookkeeping for a big business, or for any size business. And I went to the show one night and somebody said, well, the manager's wife actually, she said, hey, I got a job for you, you can start here as assistant manager. So I went and talked to her husband and I said, well, I can only work at nights because I work for my dad. He said, well, that's fine. So anyway, I was working for Dad during the day and theater at night. And then Dad ended up closing up the business. Wasn't, well, he was losing money, not making money. And I ended up full-time at the theater. Turned out to be my profession.
Yep.
And when I was doing that interview that I was telling you about, right at the end of it, I thought, you know, that was a job I really enjoyed. And then I said, and I was good at it. I don't know where that came from, but I was.
Yeah. You were very good at it.
Eh?
You were very good at it. Yeah.
I had to be good or I wouldn't have lasted that long.
Well, look where it took you.
Yeah. Well, the last few years, the top management were Americans, and they were just vicious, cruel, terrible. It used to be like a family working there. We used to have picnics every summer, and the president of the company at Christmas, he'd take all, not the whole staff, but just department heads and certain others, take us out for Christmas dinner.
Who is
George
Gustunis? Who's
Yeah.
George Gustunis?
Yeah, George
Okay.
Gustunis, that's who it was.
Yeah.
And they found a way to get rid of him. The Americans found a way to get rid of him.
Did they?
They blamed him for a bad deal on a rental, a theater rental.
That
It
was
was
it.
screwed up by one of their lawyers in New York.
Gone.
My hands are freezing. I need mittens on.
Should we need these?
The kind of guy he was, his secretary was getting pretty old and she was ready, she wanted to retire. And he called me up to his office just before she retired to ask permission to talk to my secretary to work for him. Now, that's something.
Really?
Getting my permission to talk to my secretary.
That's a big deal.
And I went back down to my office and I said, Mr. Gustunis wants to see you. She says, why? And I just, you're his secretary now.
You're it.
She just about went through the floor. It was funny. She was a nice, really nice, intelligent girl, young lady, not a girl. She was divorced, had a young son, and she was very attractive. If she wasn't my secretary, I would have dated her.
Room rate 75 cents and
And then when
$1.
she became the president's
For a
secretary, I
bucket
couldn't
out of the
either.
room. Empire Cab. That was still in existence for years, wasn't it?
What?
Empire Cab,
That book is good, eh?
Yeah.
Lido Hotel.
The second time through?
I kind of went back a little bit, but
We couldn't have that book, eh?
I'm freezing.
There, no sweater.
Glad I put a sweater on.
I'm trying to get it.
Yeah, turn my heat up in here, can you?
there's a draft coming from that window, I think.
It's chilly. Yeah.
I don't like it.
The Capitol Theatre North Bay was almost identical to that one. And the one I managed in Galt was identical. They all had orchestra pits and dressing rooms and everything for
It's more
stage.
common there.
This one got closed
One
down.
more day tonight.
The one in North Bay became the Capitol Center, and they still run plays and live, mostly live
Theater.
stuff there. And the one in Galt burned down.
I like that theater.
Yeah, it was a nice theater. It's funny, you know, that on that street in Galt used to get flooded almost every spring. The Grand River went right, it was just across the road. And all the time I was there, it never flooded. Year
Wow.
after I left, it flooded.
It's magic.
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 When did they transition away from live theater?
Pardon?
When did they get away from live theater?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
When,
Oh. I don't know. Offhand, I don't know.
I like that.
But, a lot of performers like going into that theater to perform because the acoustics are so good. Didn't need a microphone.
Nice.
Way up in the balcony, for back seats, you could hear it almost as well as if you're in the front.
Have you got the keys?
Go check on your baby.
yep, I'll go check on my baby. Can she come here?
I got,
Well,
I
I
brought
just don't
along,
want her to bark.
Come on, Nellie, come on.
on one of these somewhere, there's a picture of me when I got involved with one of the stage shows. I didn't get involved on purpose, I was tricked into it.
Oh, tricked.
Auberge du village.
Hmm? Laundry.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you forget.
When you see the photo, do you remember?
Yeah, of course it triggers something. Some, not always though. So I left home at 16. I was born in 1934, so I was about 18.
Yep.
And then went back.
Ross, how old were you when you left home?
Hmm?
How old were you when you left home?
How old was I?
Yeah,
When you left home.
When I left?
Home? When you
Oh.
moved out?
Oh, when I moved out, oh. I don't know, about 22, I guess. Actually, I was pretty well on my own before that. I had my own apartment, but it was next to
Right.
parents. So I always ate there.
Like there was, we were
Except
above the
when I-
garage, yeah.
When I was home, I ate there. When I wasn't, I ate out a lot too.
And Ross had a room by himself way down the corridor. There's a long corridor.
Yeah.
And his was at the end. And then Mom and Dad were on the right here. And then where were we?
They had
We're on
the-
this side.
We had the bigger apartment anyway,
Yeah,
but there
yeah.
weren't enough. I think there was only one bedroom, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 rooms. Kitchen and
Mine was
bedroom,
just a
living
single
room.
room, just
Yeah, yeah.
bedroom. Had to make my own bed. That was pretty rough.
So hard on you.
A hard life. It was a hard life.
Yeah, actually, that's when it was starting to get easier. It was a lot tougher before that. But you never know, never realize it, eh? You never realize that you're going through tough times.
No.
Not really.
No.
It's
Good.
good.
Stick this in there, this one is in there somewhere.
Do you want candy?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No? I don't.
What's next?
You seen this one already? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, how did that get in there? That's all my operations and all my medications. That doesn't belong in here. I don't know what it's doing in there. Must have fallen in there when I picked something else
You
up.
should keep that in your purse.
See, when I go for doctor's appointments, sometimes they ask you for a,
On medical history, yeah.
so I just take, keep it.
Yeah.
They're always gonna make a photocopy to it back to it. Oh, look who that is.
You see your mom? I look
Oh, there's the old house. And Mom and Mrs. Scott, I can't remember her name. Her brother and I were in the same class at school.
Where's that?
That's where we lived. Two-room house, no bathroom, no inside.
So where's your bathroom?
I had a roll of film developed, and they sent me 2 copies of one photograph.
And that's my kitty cat.
Compare the,
She moved.
I think the numbers are backwards.
They are.
Muggins, he was a really nice cat.
Muggins?
He just disappeared one day.
And there's a good picture of our toilet at that house. That was a long walk at 35 to 40 below zero.
I think.
That's my mother. Our mother. She was really pretty.
You look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that shed back there in the outhouse.
Oh, I was so scared.
Hey,
I was so afraid to go to the bathroom at night because I was sure there was somebody in that shed waiting to get me.
there's a cat called Muggins.
Yeah,
That orange cat. Remember, it was an orange color.
yeah.
Who's that?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, Dick's friends that came from Tesla and they got married at our place. Dick's friend in the Air Force
Yeah.
lived in Tesla. Yeah, yeah. That's the car. That was my favorite car.
Ah, that's a beauty.
This woman who lived next door to us with you. She slept with me one night.
Yeah?
Lois?
Yeah, she got drunk at our place and she got into bed with me. Nothing happened. I mean, how could anything happen? There was the split bedroom at the back and the living room, dining room, kitchen, parlor, whatever it is. One room, and I slept on the couch, so she got on the couch. Anyway, her husband was right there, he wouldn't let anything happen. There's a good picture, better picture of the outhouse.
The outhouse.
That was cool.
Well, that was a long ways from the house, right?
Yeah,
That walk out there at
that
night.
sidewalk, the walkway had to be kept clear too. I had to do that.
I see that.
I think that's Dorothy Jefferson. Her name was Morgan. Don't remember her first name. And I know who that is, but one of them is you too.
I'm the one in the middle. Okay.
Oh yeah.
We spent they lived across the road from us, so we went to school together in our early teens. But then their parents bought a lodge.
This was taken in front of our house, but that was the next door neighbor's house.
That's a good picture. (27/6/49), 1949. I like when people put the dates on a picture. It helps.
This girl's last name was Rutledge. I can't remember her first name.
Barbara.
Huh?
Barbara.
Yeah, she slapped me in the face once.
For what?
because I wouldn't go out with her. It's true.
That's his memory.
She hit me pretty hard too. I remember that. I was sort of surprised. Hey, you can see almost the whole house there. That's a big house.
Your mom is pretty, right? Your mom is pretty.
Oh. Oh, did Dick have a hangover there, or was it just sad?
Pictures have a feeling sometimes.
They do.
There's our next door neighbor again with you and her little girl.
Samara, wasn't it? Last name.
Samard.
Samara.
And
Remember
this is a
that?
picture you took because you're not in it.
Who took this picture? I wonder.
No idea.
And this is one we allowed you in the picture. Just you and I.
You had quite a head of hair.
Eh?
Mm-hmm.
You had a lot of hair.
Yeah. There was so little now.
Lots of Franklin. Yeah, look at that in those days, eh?
Oh,
The
that's,
clothes.
there's that Rutledge
Wow.
brat with.
This is a
She
very.
grabbed me.
That's the house they live
Made
in.
me put my
Little
arm
two-room
around
house.
her.
Oh yeah, Russ was telling me he used to sleep outside.
March 1947.
The good old days, eh, you guys?
Up there, an outhouse.
Eh?
Good old days don't include an outhouse, do they?
That was when we lived in London, wasn't it? Wasn't that taken in the backyard?
Yeah, somebody's
I've never-
backyard,
yeah.
I don't remember where.
Yeah.
I remember I took the picture though.
Who's
Has that
that?
got a date on it?
Huh?
Has that one got a date on it?
I don't know.
Who's that, Franklin?
No, it didn't write anything on it.
Is that you, Franklin?
Yeah.
I often wonder if you can see the kids in it.
Oh, definitely.
Oh wow, look at you, you're younger. I never seen that.
That's when she was colored.
Wow. Look at the hair on you too. Wow.
Right there, there.
Yeah.
Now, how are you gonna put it back in there again?
Yeah, what's this?
Without my glasses.
Without
I'm
reckoning.
okay.
Is that where it were?
Hey, Roshan, see how this, like, this has got a good finish? Hey?
Yeah.
They don't
What
do
do we
that
do?
no more.
No, how come like?
It's not a glossy finish, it's
No,
a,
it's perfect.
matte.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's okay from the page. Oh, you look at, like that one too. Okay, just leave it there.
No, I'm trying to remember the situation when it was taken.
Yeah.
And that was after you were born, I know that.
After that?
So you think it's in London?
Yeah, I think it's in London.
Yeah.
You took the picture?
I took it, but I don't remember it. I took a lot of pictures, so I should have written them down when I was.
Yeah, you're great because you're always taking pictures.
Oh, that's me. This is in Oshawa.
Is that the one you took? Which one, that one? This one?
This is in Oshawa, and that one at their house. Aunt Lottie and Uncle Moss, and Ruby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ruby, there's a story there, both parents died, so
Yeah.
how many, 2 children? Or 3?
Huh?
The parents died, Ruby's mom and dad died,
Yeah, it was 4.
4 children, and they
Three,
were
2
put
girls,
out,
2 boys.
put out in the family,
Yeah.
so family members raised them.
So where does she come from? Your dad's side or your mom's side?
What?
Ruby.
Oh,
Was she-
my mom said.
Your mom's side.
Yeah.
Who's that? You, Franklin?
Mm-hmm.
Dad?
That's my dad.
Your dad?
Some kid, he's older.
Oh,
That's
probably
by Brian.
Brian. And
Oh, what's the
Ross?
date on there?
I don't know. I can't see it.
September.
First,
Well, that, remember they used to put the dates on the, right on the front
September
of it?
56.
Yeah.
Yeah.
56. I was only,
So
I was born in 55, so I was only a year old
Yeah.
when that was
You were
taken.
you were such a
Do you hear what I said?
sweet little guy.
I was only a year old.
in 56.
What
That's
happened?
Brian. That's Grandpa.
So you see the
Dad.
guy, what happened to
Is
him?
that mom's
I don't
dad?
know.
That's my mom's dad, Frank.
Let me see that.
Older,
in the light.
older Brian. And my dad's holding me.
Oh, your dad looks young there. Eh? Is that your mother beside your dad?
Yep.
And then
He's holding me, and then
that's your dad, and who's the woman in
That must be
between you
Brian.
and your mom?
Yeah.
that's
Oh, I recognize
that's
Brian.
Mary. That's his
What I see is I got my arm around him,
mom.
and he's like, do I have
This
to?
is your grandmother.
Yeah.
That's your grandfather. Who's this lady?
Mom.
Oh, that's the mom.
That's her.
Oh, and
Is
then
that
who's
Ken at
this
night?
one?
I can't tell.
No, that's Uncle Moss.
Okay.
There's no my dad.
That's in Oshawa.
And then it's Brian.
One year, or one day after, when I was running the drive-in there, they invited me over for dinner. And he wanted me to take him downtown to pick something up.
Very happy.
So I did.
Huh?
I can
Took him down, and then I decided we were gonna have a beer and we rode back. Well, she didn't like him drinking, she didn't like the idea of drinking at all. But he wouldn't eat anything. He was just about starving to death, he wouldn't eat.
Who's that?
So anyway, I took him into a bar, we had a couple of beers, went home, had dinner, and he wanted more, I kept eating.
Who's this?
And Aunt Lottie looked at me, and then she nodded and smiled, and that was quite all right for him to have a beer if he was going to eat. Gave him an appetite.
Yep.
There you go, almost. Something's not working right.
Well, this one came off, but that's okay.
Well, that mountain wasn't up far enough.
That's why,
I flipped up.
I think it was off already, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's this lake, isn't it?
You weren't even a gleam in your mommy's eye yet.
Not yet. Nope.
That's your big brother,
Who's that?
Brian.
That's Brian.
No.
Taking all the credit.
And that's Frank Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad?
Yep. At the lake.
He used to write me once in a while from Florida.
That's Camille.
Yeah, I still hear from him after
Yeah.
split.
Who's
There's
that?
some blank pages. Where did they go to? That was a rental, a French car. Looked like a little Volkswagen, well, a little different. But I could pick it up, I could pick the front end up.
Really?
Yeah, it's so light I could pick it up.
Well, you can kind of tell, because look at, I'm not big in that. Yeah.
Was the motor in the back? Was the motor in the back of the car?
Who's that guy down there?
Papa, my dad, our dad.
Father,
Me papa,
me, Papa,
me
Sue,
dad,
Papa.
what, my dad. Frosty.
You're getting a treat there. And there he is posing for a picture. The dog posing for a picture.
Didn't we have a dog named Frosty too?
I think he was looking for a rat.
No.
Didn't we take a picture of them later when they were growing up all together?
Yeah, we had one too. We took a picture of Linda. Well, Linda was just happened to be here for some reason. I forget now whether it was in what town it was in. I forget now. It could have been Sarnia. then we got the three of you posing exactly the same way.
Exactly, so growing up in your early teens, you remember that?
Yeah,
I thought
it might have been
that
in
somewhere.
Sarnia.
It might be in here somewhere too.
Who are them? Those kids?
Brian, me, and Melinda.
Oh,
My brother's daughter. Haven't heard from her. She phoned me almost 2 years ago now.
yeah.
And,
It's on the farm. That's
Yeah, I
cute,
used
I
to-
always loved that picture.
yeah.
That. Who's that, Franklin?
And my dad,
Yeah.
Some people on him.
and
Oh.
then Bill, and then Brian.
So like this is kind of fine.
It's probably, is that the last time we were all together?
So I was hoping can we move this one?
What's the date on the
That's
top?
1956.
Or even just like right here. And I know it's gonna be tight, but you're not.
54, is there 56? I can't-
56.
56.
Or we can use that. Yeah.
Uncle Jim and Aunt Ruby. Yeah, I used to go spend some time at their farm in the summer. Well, he wasn't his farm. He worked for the farmer. So.
They missing all the good pictures of me when I was a teeny runt.
Yeah. You should see him, he was cute.
Still a teeny runt. Is there anywhere that you,
Goofy picture.
Yeah.
well, the dogs are in the hallway right by the main desk.
It's okay, I'll go up the other way.
So if you go up that way,
It's down here.
I was worried. I thought they were outside, and I thought if I take her out, they'll attack.
Yeah, Art and Pat are in this picture.
Oh my gosh.
You see the Russian bride?
Who's that, Franklin?
Yes.
Is that
Is your
you?
flower?
Yes. I recognize you.
He could hardly wait.
Okay, how come you got these pictures and she doesn't have these pictures?
Because I took them.
Oh, okay, okay.
That explains
That
it.
explains it. I was thinking, what is she gonna do?
Yeah, there's Ross, there's nobody else.
Yeah, of course.
Somebody stole the rest of them.
Yeah, I
don't
see
know
that,
what
you
it
can tell they're missing.
Oh, look at this cute little puppy.
is. George Dickerson.
Oh, is that who that is?
Not too long after he got married. Well, I had a kid then. That's Bob Morris, the one I was talking about that had his leg broken and smashed.
Oh,
He died pretty well alone. They found him wandering the streets in Toronto, Alzheimer's. And he had a sister. I didn't even know he had a sister. He never ever talked about her.
So what's this?
Well, that's a cottage we built.
Wow.
And Dad sold it for
2,000, wasn't it?
$2,500.
That's the cottage that you were talking about?
$2,500, and we had our own island. It was a small island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sold it for $2,500, and it was worth at least 5 times that much then. And we couldn't talk him out of not
Selling
selling
it.
it. He said, I gave my word. That was it. He gave his word. There's nothing
That's too
written down,
bad.
but he gave his word.
Everyone gets comfortable. People get comfortable. You don't have to.
Were you out on that
That's the old
cottage,
miners.
Franklin? Were you in that cottage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's talked about it.
Yeah, that's the old, well, this cottage, we actually, we had a time limit on getting a building up, so I bought a prefab
Oh.
just to get it started.
Stick it on
And then he
there.
started adding on to that. The original idea was the prefab was there and we were gonna build the cabin about 10 feet away from there. We started laying the ground, we never got to it, never finished it. Instead he kept adding on to this.
The one that was there.
Yeah. And it worked out fine, it looked not too bad.
Good.
But a week after these people bought it, they burned it down.
On
Burned up the
purpose?
whole island.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not too bright. I mean, they decided to burn off all the scrub brush around there.
And
So they
everything
burned it
caught.
and then they went home. But
Oh.
they didn't think that, you know, that fire is still going underground. You can't
Yes.
see it. It's still there. And that's, I bought the motor too. But it went up in smoke too on the fire. It was just chunks of aluminum, that's all it turned out to be. My fishing gear was out there, it was all gone. I never got a chance to get any of it back.
It's too bad.
Two twos and a three, so 1, 2 twos.
Well, I built it up again,
Oh, look.
and then when I retired, it got built up again because the movie industry threw a party for me.
Oh,
And part of what they gave me was brand new fishing equipment.
oh, that's
Fishing rod and
nice.
reel, the good ones too, not cheap. And a tackle box full of tackle.
Good.
And a caricature cartoon type, 22 by 28. Me sitting in a boat and Shannon looking over my shoulder, she's smiling
Aw.
and says something, what does it say?
Not fishy.
No,
No, I
it's
can't remember.
what a life or a great life or something for you.
There's a couple we used to chum around with a lot.
Do you remember their names?
Mm,
These two?
Yeah, it'll come to me if I don't think about it.
Yeah, don't think about it.
Especially if it's 3, because then we could take the chair up.
I know his name,
Bill, is that Bill?
Dick
Oh, I can't see it. Okay.
Thomas Richard.
Is that what is your brother named Thomas?
Thomas Richard,
Thomas.
but he was called Dick,
Dick.
short for Richard.
I'd love to be out there at that cottage. I think that was her life.
She loved it.
Yeah. He was trying to put out the fire.
Yeah.
Caught the water from the lake. They took up to try to get the fire, stop the fire, but it got away from them. It was really pretty.
It's a monkey, one of our relatives on Nancy's side.
I was waiting for that. I was
You
waiting.
knew that
I
was
knew that was coming. Yeah.
No, that's long before I met you.
Yeah.
I
I
was
was
still,
just a
I was only
baby.
about 16 or 17 years old when I took that.
Oh God, I was a baby.
I love that picture. Holding up the porcupine.
Oh yeah. We killed it because it was destroying property.
They chew a lot.
Yeah. That one, I've got a blow up of that. I think it might be in the back. But you were really mad at me.
I know.
She got mad at me because I wouldn't let her run the motor.
She's running
Would
the
you blame
motor.
her?
So I did let her. and
You
then
know I
took-
won.
I took a picture of her because
She's got her eyebrows
she was
down.
still a little bit angry, but it turned out to be a good picture.
It
I
is
like
a
that
good
I really
picture.
like it. And that's Edith Dickerson.
Was that it? Oh my gosh.
See, she looks like my mother.
Was she ever a good cook? Oh wow, her meals are. Hey, remember?
Oh, pie. I can remember her pies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're angry in that.
They ended up retiring in North Bay, and I used to go there to give the manager a break when he went on vacation. So they insisted I stay at their place.
And eat
I was
pie.
like we were family, really. We lived together. We spent a lot of time together as
Yeah.
families. I stayed with them, and
Well, we'd go out every 2 weeks with the car loaded full of groceries, and they didn't have a lot. You know, so we
well,
kind
there's
of.
more to it than that. Dad used to go out and help him with the cottage
Oh,
when
yeah.
he was
Yeah, oh,
out
yeah, yeah.
doing repair work, and I used to go out there to get in the way. No, George and I got along. George was the younger brother. He's younger than me. The older brother was the same age as me, but I didn't like him. We didn't get along at all. And George and I were into mischief all the time. Always something.
I can remember something. I don't Who was, oh, when they had the baby, when
Don-
David was born,
Donald was so much bigger than me too. He was
he was a big
way
tall boy.
bigger than me, and we were about the same age. But we got wrestling around one time, and somehow I lifted him up, upside down, and dropped him on his head, and knocked him out.
Oh,
That wasn't very nice of me, was it?
yeah,
No.
you were so proud of it. And guess who that is?
Little Frankie.
Little Frankie.
Yeah, 'cause he's so blonde.
Is that the platform where we're gonna build the cottage? That's what it is.
Is
Yeah,
that what
that's
that is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the tent is
That
on it.
we've got the
Yeah.
flower in, we got the floor in, but not as far as we got.
Aw. Oh my gosh.
And it's three brothers. This, they're Austrian. It's Hugo. Oh, Hugo, this guy here. He was a real artisan when it came to woodwork. Oh, geez, he made some beautiful stuff.
Nice.
Just, he was real artist.
I like the hats.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cute. Very stylish.
There's the frog.
Yeah, Brian with the frog.
Oh
His
gee.
pet frog.
In his mouth?
Yeah.
Where else do you keep a frog? I don't know. Don't you know?
Now I know. In your mouth.
My word.
Now when you see Brian, you're gonna say, "Where's that pet frog you had in your mouth, Brian? What did you do with it? Eat it?"
I can see Brandon in that picture, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Brandon. Oh my gosh.
Or Brandon looked like him.
Yes, of course. Brandon looks like him.
See your brother, weird brother,
Look at Brian with a frog
put
in
it in
his mouth.
Weird brother.
His pet frog that he kept in his mouth. See it?
He was weird.
Well, he just let it out for a minute, so.
For a photograph.
Yeah.
A pet frog in his mouth. These are great pictures, eh? Really great.
Is that Harley? Harley McKnight, I think?
Harley McKnight.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a little backward, but he used to follow me around like a puppy.
And she had never been away from home.
Oh.
Never. I mean, that's later, but when she got married,
She'd never
she'd
been
only
away.
been and lived at her parents' house, so she was just not, she was in shock.
I bet.
Porcupine there. Hey, you up there, Mom?
Yeah,
Yeah.
playing cards.
That must be Muggins.
Yeah.
Muggins the cat.
Yeah, she was orange. He was orange. And our neighbors across the road had a great big police dog, and he killed cats.
Aw.
But didn't kill that one. He came over snooping around our house one day, and the cat was outside, up on the stoop. The dog came too close. The cat went right into his face, all four paws, all
jeez.
four paws going, and ripped
I
him all,
know.
ripped his face
Look
up.
at you.
He never came back in our yard again.
You're so cute.
Look at, he even has suspenders on.
Elmer Beam.
Look at you guys. That's a nice picture.
So Brian
I don't
praying.
know why it's off center. Maybe
Yes.
I wanted to get a picture of the shrub in there too.
Brian was always praying. See,
Was
pray,
he?
pray. I gotta pray.
He's praying. Is that Brian praying in the picture?
May the Lord my soul to keep.
I should have had a name on this one. I don't know who that was.
That was,
Baggy pants.
yeah, I think there's
No,
not.
it's sitting
That
on-
looks like zoot suit
it's
pants.
sitting on the outhouse.
Oh!
I ripped the door open, took a picture of him.
Who's
I
that?
just thought it was somebody sitting on the step.
Who's that?
Somebody on the toilet.
Sitting on the throne in the
Who's that?
backyard.
I
In
don't
the
know.
privy,
In the privy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, that might
word.
have been out of the cottage. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it was. It was, you're right.
Is that Brian?
It was Frank.
That's Frank.
He was so blonde.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's Frank. Yeah.
Like our Davis was that blonde too.
Yeah.
Super
Do you see
blonde.
Davis or anybody in there?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's the cottage too.
With an add-on.
Yeah. This is part of the original and that was an add-on there.
So is this
There's
the
Camille
beach?
Cornelius there with a bass in his hand.
I don't know where that was.
That looks like you have a dress on at the beach.
There's Brian again. What do you think he's doing there?
Praying.
Praying.
Brian's praying. He's always got his hands like that. Who's got the plunger? That's you, Frank, is it? With the plunger and Brian?
Right?
Yeah.
You
They were
got the
doing some-
plunger in your
They were doing some
hand.
plumbing.
Oh, they grew up learning how to do everything.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
If I remember right, they were in the bathtub and I handed them the plunger so I could.
You got the plunger in your hand like a scepter. Oh my goodness. These are priceless. Priceless pictures.
Oh, Frank was very photogenic. I love these two pictures. They're two of my favorites.
Aren't they good?
There's a lot.
Yeah. Super blonde. Oh, sorry. So who's this? With the dark hair.
Oh, that's Rudy Schneider.
Rudy Schneider.
Yeah, he was a washing machine repairman in Toronto.
Oh,
But did he ever know that city? He picked me up one day to take me to work when there was a strike on, where the TTC was on strike.
yes.
So the streets were all, blocked off and everything. He picked me up, took me to work, and he got me there faster than if there was no traffic,
Oh my gosh.
using back streets, because he knew the city so well.
Happy 50th, Ken and Jean Shoemaker. Surprise celebration of their
Stubbard,
50th.
Jean Stubbard.
So that's my mother's side of the family.
See, this lady looks like my mother. Pictures of my mother look like that. Glasses, curly dark hair. My dad was the blonde.
That hairstyle.
Yeah, that hairstyle, those glasses.
Yeah, it's me and Mama.
That's your mom?
Yeah. We look like we look related too in that picture, don't we?
You do. You really look alike there. And that's the grandma in England.
The one in England that fooled around too much when she was younger and had kids.
Uh-oh.
Sorry?
She was a bit,
But we talked to her all the time.
promiscuous.
That's tad bit promiscuous.
Well, she
It's
got,
hard to look at this picture and think that.
Yeah.
she had a defect when she was born.
Yeah.
They thought that she was, as a baby, that she wasn't going to live, so they just threw her to one side
Yeah, they
and
thought
broke
she
her
was
nose.
dead. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it never healed properly.
Oh my word.
So you can see she's got a funny looking nose there.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell on that picture.
I can see it.
Yeah. But actually, she was a very nice person. I mean, so she was a little promiscuous. So today it doesn't matter.
No,
Back then it
I
did.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, Ross must have taken
Oh,
all
that's
those out
some
of
good
there.
ones. Oh. Oh, that's a friend of mine,
Oh, there's still more.
Eddie.
These are little pictures.
This one already.
Oh, look. That's a nice picture, but who is it?
Yeah.
That's Dick.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
And
oh my goodness.
Tommy. He took his own life when he was
that's
18 years
sad.
old. There's evidence that he tried to stop, but it was too late.
Is this bullfighting?
Yeah.
yeah, that wasn't there, that's yours.
That's inside the Regent Theatre. You saw the photos in that other catalog, or that other magazine about the Regent. There's Way Out, some of the girls. I don't know why I took this.
Girls.
Maybe I just had to
Girls.
use up some film. I don't know.
We're lucky either Ross was photograph person.
No, he just sharpened the axe.
Ooh. So who's this?
Every family needs a
That's
person
his-
like that.
his
Yeah.
wife.
Trick the
Oh.
camera
Yeah.
happy guy.
Forget her name.
Yeah, because when you have all
His
those
name was
things.
Mark.
And back then, there weren't a lot of people back then.
He was a friend of yours, but oh no, he was a friend of ours
Exactly, there it
in
is.
Oshawa.
Oh.
And we were out of the cottage and Dad and Mary, her stepmother, they were out there at the same time as Sandy and I. And they decided to have a little tete-a-tete in the middle of the night. And the couch they were sleeping on folded up.
That's funny.
And
When they were in it?
I heard her
Yeah.
call it, "Mark, you damn fool!" And Mary whispered to Dad after a while, after they sat down, "I think they're all done now. It's our turn."
Oh, look, color photography.
A new era began.
Yeah.
There's two girls that worked for me in Oshawa at the drive-in. And her husband was really jealous of me. He thought we had something going. We never did, but. And then they tried to get me, well, she didn't work for me. She was just a friend of theirs. They tried to get her and I together, but that didn't work either.
You were a slut when you were free and single.
Right?
You were a stud.
Yeah,
Never even
stud.
dated her, but
Yeah.
never went out with her.
Who's that?
I don't know, do you know?
No, it looks a little bit familiar, but I can't put a name to it.
Who?
That little baby right there.
Brian.
No, that's not Brian. He's not praying. Can't be Brian.
Yeah.
His hands aren't like this.
Doesn't look like Alan either, so.
No.
Someone's.
Oh, things are written on those ones.
Loose.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the bigger picture of the
Oh,
boat.
that's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
Crabby. She wanted to drive the boat, and Ross wouldn't let her, and then finally he would. And he took her picture being crabby with her eyebrows down.
See, this is the one I was telling you about that we went to get a bottle of whiskey at my place and Mom saw
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
It was her twin sister.
Was in bed already?
And anyway, her twin sister was a prostitute.
Oh, geez.
I didn't know that then.
Oh, really?
Oh,
And she was already in bed.
Eh?
is that Brian? He looks like a pumpkin.
Oh, he's fat then. Really
No,
fat.
has he got a life jacket
Yeah, he's
on?
got a
Is
life
that a
jacket
life
on.
jacket?
That's when the
I
life
thought
jackets
he had
weigh
a
more than the
pumpkin
person.
on his knee.
Remember the life
this.
jackets they used to
Look
wear?
how big
Yeah.
it is. Look at the life
Oh
jacket.
my God! I thought that
Yep,
looked like
it
a
says
pumpkin.
Brian Van Prate Lake.
That's when you used to want to drown
Nepawasi.
kids. Put this on.
Oh my God, it's like
'Cause it would fill full of water
Yeah, it's-
and pull you under.
huge.
That's an Oshawa in our backyard, and the house that, first house that Sandy and I lived in was rented. But I remember one day in the summertime, the old guy next door was sort of snooping around, doing some work out in his yard, but he was listening to us because we had the window open. And I said to Sandy, he says, don't you think since we have a house now that we should get married?
Oh,
She says, why break up a perfect friendship? I mean, she caught on to it right away. And the word got around the neighborhood
that you weren't
that we
married.
weren't married.
Okay, this
And
this
that
on
Lottie
the
lived in the
box
same
says
block.
And Lottie got her into that, eh?
Yeah, Patsy. This says Ross in Oshawa. This says George Dickerson and wife and baby, North Bay. Yeah, you guys were together a lot. This says Harley McKnight's dog, Patsy. So there's Patsy again.
It's Harley's dog.
There's another picture.
Oh, are marking on
Patsy
the back?
the dog. Yeah, they've got writing on them. Don't you wish everybody wrote on all the
Does
photographs?
that look like you're ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, that says Patsy, and apparently Patsy is Harley McKnight's dog in
Yeah.
1952. That dog's no longer around, I'm sure.
Sure.
There's this one. That's a little boy, but there's nothing written on that one. I don't recognize that little
Oh, he
boy.
was just a neighbor.
It's good you have a good memory like this, Ross. This kills me, Brian, in that life jacket. I thought he was holding a
Pumpkin,
pumpkin.
it does look like
He had a
he's holding
pumpkin on his
pumpkin.
knee. I thought, oh, it's a Halloween picture. But it's his life jacket that looks like a
In
pumpkin.
those days, it says, how much do you weigh?
They're a little different shape now.
Yeah,
I weigh 50 pounds, and that's the jacket you need to put on, a 50-pound jacket.
jacket. That's a beautiful wedding dress.
I remember them, because they get soaking wet and dry.
Who's that wedding? Ross, yours?
Well, the groom's name was Bob Wright, but I don't know, I can't remember her name.
Oh,
She married Mr. Wright.
Yeah,
What's a good thing?
she's not Chinese, so it's not a Wong.
No.
But his parents owned a tourist camp too. That's the one where I think I told you where I wrote a letter to them. They invited me up and I wrote a letter telling them when I was going to be there. And the letter arrived on the same train I was on.
Oh, I'm
And
coming.
I was
Here I
lucky
am.
that they had to come out to the depot to pick up supplies because they don't go out every day. They only went out once a week to pick up their supplies. And if they hadn't come out, I wouldn't have known where to go. And that was in May 24th weekend. 3 inches of snow.
Oh my gosh.
That was way up near Gogama. The only way in and out of there was by rail.
you're just a youngster then?
Okay?
You were just a youngster then?
Yeah. Well, the first morning I was there, I went out for a walk around, just take a look around. I saw a dog down by the river, where the river flowed into the lake that they were situated on. So I went down and scratched its ear, and it was sort of growling, but friendly and waving its tail. And with Bob's older brother, Bill, he came out. That's not a dog. Then I realized it wasn't a dog, it was a wolf. And then it was chained to a heavy chain, metal chain, not a,
He was lucky.
yeah. You know, I told you about the minister doing the eulogy for Dick. That's that there.
Yeah, he gave us a copy of it.
Oh, he can read it out loud.
That's your brother?
Yeah.
Your mom's waiting for you to read it out loud, she says.
Oh, she is?
Yes.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, oh, I can't hear you. Pretty fine type.
It is.
Yeah, she's tiny.
It is a solemn occasion that brings me to the house of God today. A loved one has died. Thomas Richard Chapman. Dick's sudden death comes as a deep shock to the family, friends, church, and community. We come in silence with deep reverence for the life, love, and faith that has been ours to share in Dick's living. We gather that we might pay a tribute of love to one who has been very much a part of us. We come as well that we might support those who grieve their loss. With them, we face this service with heavy heart, for their loss is our loss. Their grief is our grief. It is a portion of our hope that as we pass along the word, or our touch of love and friendship, deep strength will be passed along as well. It is in the quiet touch of love, or a spoken word, or simply a presence, by which the love and support of God is transmitted one to the other. we gather that we might hear once again the promises of God as they speak to us of comfort, of the ever-present Spirit promised to those who remain. With the sudden death of a friend, we are forced to turn to the depths of our faith as we face this mystery together. Dick was in his 57th year. He was a man of quiet, sincere faith who was prepared to do what he could do for family, friends, church, and community. Dick and I often shared moments together when we would speak of his days in the Canadian Armed Forces, and especially those as a fire marshal. Just recently, he spoke of one of his favorite pastimes, that of playing darts. And he spoke with a wide grin and some pride when he told me that his team had won a recent tournament. He was a member of the Royal Canadian Legion. Dick enjoyed the outdoors. Hunting, fishing, just time outside were a part of him, and was his love for family and friends. One is tempted to speak glowing words of praise about the one who has gone on, but Dick, I am sure, would have no part of it. Suffice it for me to say that Dick will be sorely missed and long remembered as a faithful husband, a loving father and stepfather, a brother, a son-in-law, a relative, and a friend. In his own quiet way, Dick's presence has been and will be felt in people, in the community, and the church. He often spoke with gratitude of the extra years he had been given through open heart surgery. He called them his borrowed time, yet he lived life and enjoyed it to the fullest. We loved him for it. Dick would have me speak of the faith in which he believed and of which we often spoke. To that faith, I will now direct your thoughts. Now turn this paper around.
Page 2.
Another author once wrote, "The measure of a life is not in its duration, but in its donation." We know Dick's donation even in the short time that we have given with us. There are so many easy answers to our questions of why. Why has God, in his permission, allowed this to happen? I think of Christ's own prayer visit in the Garden of Gethsemane. "Take this cup from me, yet not what my will, but yours be done." Then there was that sudden soul-piercing cry from the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me?" Somehow I seem all the tears of our anguish and our hurting wrapped up in these words. Words by God's own Son. He knew both physical pain of his own person and the pain of losing a friend to death. Jesus was well aware of the depth and heights at which the human soul is capable. He never tried to provide that easy answer for which our hearts often long. Rather, he acknowledged the presence of suffering and death, and then he spoke of the victory that is ours at death. On the eve of his own death, he spoke to the small group who were his disciples of his own death, that he would be nailed to a cross, that he would be an offering for all people, that his death would be for him and for all believers a return home to be with his Father. Home, a place where love is known and shared, a place where perfect rest and peace are found. Jesus spoke to reassure us of the mercy and the love of God. "Let not your hearts be troubled." Then he spoke that beautiful illustration of the home, a house of many rooms or mansions. As though to add a final note of assurance, he promised, "I go to prepare a place for you." We do not walk the pathway of death alone, for Christ walks with us. I think of the prose titled "Footsteps in the Sand." A man had had a dream. As he looked back over his life, there seemed always to be two sets of footprints. One belonged to God and one to the man. But then the man looked again, and there is a difference at times in life. There seemed to be only one set of footprints. Why is that, God, that in the most difficult times you left me, where there is only one set of prints?
What's big? I don't know much on that one.
We know the answer already, don't we? My son, perhaps you should look again. I love you and would never leave you. In your trials and sufferings, there was only one set of footprints because I was carrying you. Could we now believe in anything else other than the fact that victory belongs to God? And through his mercy and grace, that victory is extended to us. Such victory over the grave belongs to our friend and loved one. That victory is extended to us as we grapple with our grief. There is grief for a loved one who has left us. There is also gratitude for the life we have shared. Love that flowed freely from one heart to the other never dies, for it is of God. There is also comfort and strength. Pat, for the moment, you are surrounded by family, loved ones, and friends. And that is good, for there is strength in yours and in their comfort. In a short time, there will come a moment when you will feel most alone and lonely. Turn then to God, for his presence will surround you as a shield of strength and love. You will be blessed in God's presence.
Nice, eh?
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful.
So I thought a lot of them, man.
Do you think?
Like that.
Yeah.
That's
I
Dick.
remember that minister too. They were
that?
really close friends.
Is that Dick? That's wrong.
That's Ross.
No way, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful, wasn't
Wow, yeah. Be a handsome young man.
And look, that's the same upside down even this.
Yeah, you're right.
Now you recognize them.
Yeah, I do.
it? That's why I was chased all the time.
That's why you were chasing. He was telling me like a movie star here.
You really did.
He was
Really,
telling
really
me
did.
in the younger days when he was
Easily.
single, all these girls
You're
were
looking
chasing
into
me.
where you're looking at that,
That's
too,
what,
Rob.
yeah, so that's why I call him.
When all those people came to your
Yeah,
office in
yeah.
Toronto, that
Yeah,
when
it's
the movie stars that came to your office,
Well, then you should
they
feel
probably
that.
recognized
Yeah.
in you that
Actually,
quality,
you know what?
because you
Still
really had
gets
that
chased. The old
charisma,
ladies.
So does Frank.
that stuff that they
Like
had.
I really belonged in the movie business.
It was an easy sell.
I look
I
at
just
her and
looked
that
over that.
he's
I'm throwing out
window.
this with this.
He said, oh, that's from there and that's from there. He said, that one I don't know, he's older she is, but you always waits to be
Hey?
18 maybe? I said, that's just down in the corner, get,
About 30.
sell you, and get some money.
Get some money.
Yeah, I take them up, you know.
60.
Those people, the old ladies,
That's a
they
fantastic
pay
picture.
It's a great
someone to have dinner with, that's it, eh? Just to keep them company, because they never go,
Hey.
they might go to a restaurant, but they don't go by themselves. There's a name for that.
What happened to that picture? I don't know.
I used to belong to the
That's what I
Kiwanis
said, I
Club,
should,
and,
for the
Put 'em out.
put 'em
Earn
out.
some money.
Yeah,
and they had a weekly newsletter, you know, after every meeting they wrote up about what happened in the meetings before. And there's several of them that involved me. And they referred to me as the 18-year-old.
18-year-old.
The kid.
is that a baby? Or is that, yeah, it's a baby. Was that you with
It's getting hard to
Hey,
see.
you guys.
It's getting a little dark here.
you know, get the light on?
That was very hard for me to read.
I don't know how you did it, I had to work pretty hard not to cry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
No, I heard your voice.
I thought you two were gonna
Did you
cry.
see me break a
Yeah.
bit?
I
I
thought
had a hard
Ross was
time
gonna
reading
cry.
that
Franklin had to.
because I was choking up as I'm reading it because I
Yeah.
couldn't. I had to maintain my composure to get through that because it's very emotional, right?
It is, I remember, while I was sitting there listening to him, I first did it, and then he offered me a copy of
The light over there,
the eulogy, and I said, oh, please, please, I'll take it.
there we go.
There's one.
You can
For
tell.
some reason, Mindy didn't like this picture.
It's a good picture.
I recognized you right away. I guess the lights don't work up
That's
here.
the Christmas tree, isn't it? Or, I don't know.
No, the lights.
Oh, it's something else.
Look at that.
There, that's a
Your
lot
butler.
more right.
Old
And the
Sandy's
lamps are on, I
grandfather.
put them on as high as they go.
His name was Bang.
Bang.
Yeah, everybody called him Bang.
It's probably true.
That's a good name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can feel the coldness from this.
yeah.
He lived with us for a while.
Oh, the lights
I
are
had
out.
to rewire an old house that we owned in Galt. He was an electrician, so he did all the wiring. All I pay for is the supplies. It had a 15 amp service there, and you can't run much on a 15 amp service.
And who is everybody here?
Hey?
Did you get a picture of the
I
elk?
think I said you
Well, I
did.
thought you were going to turn the light on.
I got the
There's
light
one.
on.
You just turned one, two on.
There's Alan, Mindy. Is that Mark? Might be Mark there, is it?
No, I think so.
And Frank?
No, that looks like Luke. But it must be Frank.
Might be Frank,
It must be Luke.
because Luke looks just like Frank.
There it is.
You're better off to do the,
Remember that
Yeah,
picture?
I know, but I'm asking you.
You do got the, that's good, it's all right.
I guess that one's not working, you guys.
Which one?
The one above us.
That one on top.
Oh, that big one?
Yeah.
the lights that work are the lights that are on right now.
Yeah, they're good.
That's
We
fine.
have to get a lot of them fixed down here.
That's good.
Just down here.
We're trying to
There's
recognize
another one
ourselves.
right here if you wanna move it over.
They're just trying to recognize themselves from many, many, many years ago.
Absolutely, if you want, we can move this one
Oh,
over.
it's okay, you know what, they can.
Yeah, we're good.
They're okay.
We're good.
Yeah, we're
Sure,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Definitely. We're good.
Alan on the wedding dress.